Hello, good people. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. Today we're going to be reviewing another excellent South Korean series. It's called The Chief of Staff. It's actually in 2 seasons. Main actor playing the Chief of Staff. His real name is Lee Jung-jae, and we find out that he has always wanted to change the world, make the world a better place, and is working for this assemblyman slash politician who, let's just say, is not on the up and up, very corrupt, willing to do whatever it takes to keep climbing up the ladder. The next person we meet is Shin Min. She is playing love interest of the main character, as well as what's very interesting is that she's also works for the rival of the boyfriend. Makes it for an interesting relationship, just because when they go home it's like, well, I don't know how much I should talk about my boss, and you don't want to talk much about your boss. The next person we meet is Alia Lee. She plays as the assistant to the main character, the chief of staff, and she is the one who, let's just say, is his backbone. The next person we're gonna meet is this young intern, and he's being played by Kim Dong-jun. He's inspired and wants to work in the government. That being said, he's very young and naive, and the more he learns at the job, his eyes get wide open. And that's him right there. Now, the next character we're gonna meet is, and I've seen him before, he plays a really good, any positions that have to do with a man in power, at the same time very corrupt. He's an excellent character and actor for portraying that. He loves power, at the same time he's willing to do whatever it takes. I like his acting skills in the way he will say something that probably what he wants is to destroy your family, but he does it with a smile on his face. Just excellent actor. And his name is Kim Cup Soon. The other character we're going to meet, and I've seen him before, I actually just finished watching Sassy Girl, is Jun Woon In. Excellent. He has a wonderful smile, but also really knows how to portray as an actor that sense of like, this who you call when you want people to die, you want bodies buried, he's your guy. So when we first meet the main character played by Lee Jung-jae, and so he goes for the job of chief of staff, and while he's there, what we find out is, he's there to help change the world, and then realizes that the way the government is being run and the people who are on top are very corrupt and are willing to do whatever it takes just to climb up the ladder. The more he continues to serve, it starts to bother him in how much these politicians are willing to, say, step on the little people to get whatever they want. The moral dilemma becomes, how does he continue to do his job, as well as how does he help to still change the world, and willing to do whatever it takes. He's there to be his defender. Sometimes he gets beat up, but he's there to serve, whatever it takes. Yikes. So here's an episode that kind of shows their relationship at home. The character of Lee Jung and Shin Min, their boyfriend-girlfriend, they live together. But as you can tell, it's also challenging in the fact that they both work for each other's rival. And what they're also trying to do is to make sure that nobody finds out that they're boyfriend-girlfriend, just because you can imagine how bad that would look. But at the end of the day, they love each other, and as the more we proceed, you see how them working for opposite rivals it creates a wedge in their relationship. The intern coming to work for the very first time, I would watch the relationship between him and the chief of staff assistant. He totally has a crush on her, and it's really, really cute. But he's also willing to learn. Take a look.
너무 멋지지 않아요?
네. 유기사님, 경비 처리 때문에 사무처에 가요. 네.
Oh, look. He's just like, and okay. So this is the first time we're meeting Jung-jae Young. Now, something to know about him, his best friend who mentored him, him and the chief of staff's goal has always been to do what's just, to make the world a better place. So he's now willing to bend for anybody or anyone to not live by his convictions. No matter how dirty things get, he stuck by that. And that creates a challenge for him. This is one of my favorite episodes from season 1. It's in episode 5, as there's been a situation that has happened in the market where people are being pushed out. Is confronting him and saying, hey, do you see what you and your boss did is causing the little people to suffer? The chief of staff is coming to the realization, like, to eliminate these people who are higher up here with power, you also have to have power. And his friend is like, how dare you even dare think about doing something evil to change it? You're supposed to be the just one, the right one, the clean one, okay? And it's an interesting moral dilemma. And the chief of staff is like, you have no idea. I work with these people. I work with the minister and the assembly, and I see all day corruption. And I know to beat this corruption, you're gonna have to do some things that are not gonna look clean to beat them at their own game. This is another episode that I really love because, to be honest, I believe this is the mission of the chief of staff. I would say this would be like what you live by, your motto. And I like that they do a flashback of him and his best friend and what they had set out to do and what their mission was in changing the world. So they both go, after their drinks, they go in front of, and it could be their Congress or their White House, which, by the way, in Korea, I see they call it the Blue House. I'm not sure if it's a real thing or it's just meant for the shows, but they call their White House the Blue House. Go figure. I want a fair and no corrupt nation. Let's make a change. Let's go there, get in that corrupt house, and let's make a change. Let's build a better nation that is corruption-free, good for the little people, for all of us. And they're just pumping each other up. I love it. Let's make a change. Yeah, make a change. So this is the last episode of season 1. We're at episode 10. And at this point, where the chief of staff is, he has done some things, and let's just say, that are questionable to all his friends. His staff are like, I believe he's starting to become evil. And they're actually kind of worried for him. I did appreciate the way the script and the directing was done, in the fact that as an audience, we can see what the chief of staff is doing. So as an audience, you're convinced to cheer him on. However, his friends, family, girlfriend, his staff working for him cannot see it. All they see is, oh my gosh, he's becoming evil. what you see is the chief of staff is working for the assemblyman. However, because he's learning secrets, he's also collecting evidence that he comes to use it against him in a way that it can be undermining. So at this scene is where we go where he knows, uh-oh, my boss has found out I've been doing some things that may be undermining him. And once again, like I said, he's been collecting evidence. So he comes to repent, and he's holding the USB that he's been saving all that evidence that if he released this information, his boss, the assemblyman, will be done. So here he comes to ask for forgiveness. And just watch the type of punishment he gets. Mercy. That's a very cultural thing to do. I've seen with a lot of South Korean shows. When they're asking for forgiveness, they get on their knees. You know, I don't think most cultures do that, but for their culture, it shows my ultimate repentance. I'm actually getting on my knees. At this point, he's begging him. He's saying, I need to continue work for you. And now that you know what I'm capable of, I have one ask of you. Now that I have destroyed the evidence, I'm gonna need you to help me be elected as an assemblyman. So he goes, prove to me how repentant you are. He goes, take the glass. Now look, he's pouring it all the way to the top. Woo. And then he's like, drink it. Drink all of it in one shot. Oh, talk about alcohol poisoning. Look. Oh. Oh. Ouch. Oh. Done. He did it. Woo, he's gonna be wasted. So now in season 2, and in season 2 we meet him, and he did make it as an assemblyman. And his boss, who was an assemblyman before, he went on to be elected as the minister. So they're all moving up. And woo, he made it. He's like, get used to this, okay? Now you're one of us. You've earned it. So you need to be standing here with us, not always in the back, like you were used to. Nice. He's got the pin. Ooh, he made it. I would say season 2 is a season of reckoning, right? All these bad things that you do will one day come to get you, if you will. And that means no one is immune. And also to remind everyone is at this point, at the beginning of season 2, he's got no friends. His girlfriend doesn't want to see him. His staff is like, wow, you just went shady and we just don't know what's going on. We can't trust you. And don't forget, only the audience know the whole story. And his task becomes trying to convince them and to show them that I may look like I'm on the evil side, but I am still trying to do the right thing. In episode 8 of season 2, the corrupt minister, who used to be his boss, is questioning the now assemblyman, who used to be the chief of staff. And he's saying, do you think that we are just woke up corrupt? There's many things that happen that brings you to this position. And before you go judging me, you and your girlfriend go judging me. Like, how do you think she got so many votes? Don't you think those things in the background happening? Her father paid people to vote for her. So she's not that clean. At this point, we see the character of Jung-jae. He's the one who pretty much does the dirty business, if you will, for the minister, right? And at this point, he's been found out what he's been doing. the reporters want to talk to him, say, okay, how can you have somebody who works for you do such shady business? What they just don't know is that he's the one who's doing the direction. So Jung-jae is watching and like, oh, does he act like he doesn't know me right now? I did all that dirty business for him. He's betraying me. Right. Like, oh, I just messed up. Going to jail. Yeah. At the end of episode 8, we'll see that nobody is immune to reckoning. And that even includes the chief of staff. Supposed to meet some people, and you should know, when you have to meet someone in a place like this, it can be good. It's a construction site far, far away from nowhere. Nobody's there. What do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? Not good. Yeah. All the other people have found out he's trying to bring them down. So what have they done? They've told their thugs to go get him and beat him. Do whatever it takes. They want to take him out. They're like, clearly, they've realized he's a threat. And they can't let that happen. The question is, will he make it? Because it's not good. And look at this. They're bringing his boss, minister guy, to watch this. Crazy. You mess with us, we will teach you a lesson. Ouch. Oh. Oh my God. Ooh. So at this point, there's a reckoning too for the minister. His driver was sitting there just watching, and at the end of the day, he has something to do with taking down his boss, which you have to watch. Obviously, if I told you how he does it, it makes no sense for you to watch, but it's very interesting to see that dynamic, that he was always there in the room, invisible, but clearly he was also aware of a lot of things that were going down. Just because people work under you, treat them well, because maybe they could save you or destroy you. So in conclusion, you have to watch to see what happens to the minister and his friend when the day of reckoning comes to them. The other thing we do see is now you can start to see the vision he had and what he did. Obviously, after he got a good beating, he almost died, but he made it. The other part that we also see is the assemblyman knowing that he went too far. He went too far with trying to bring them down. He also did some things that were questionable, and for that reason he believes he needs to step down. And we'll have to see, you have to watch to see if he does step down and then what's next for him. I also do like once again with the intern, when he's talking to his mentor, the chief of staff, and now that he gets the vision, here we go. He says, I'm sorry for not trusting your vision and seeing that this whole time you're still fighting for what's just, and I was short-sighted, and I would like to be just like you, and I hope to work for many years under you to learn more. And I love his response to this young, energetic person who's like, I want to change the world like you. And I hope to learn a lot from him. Love the music. I thought his advice was fantastic. He looks, look, there's no one way of doing the right thing. The only thing you can do is do you. Walk your own path. Do the right thing your own way. It's not like I have the blueprint or the map of how to do things the right way. I did things my way, the right way, and I want you to do things the right way, your way. And if you continue to do that, you will also become a chief of staff like I was, which he's aware that that's what the intern wants. All his life is to become a chief of staff, just like his mentor.
다르고 도경 씨는 도경 씨의 길을 가. 그러면 돼. 그리고 강산이 형이랑 잘 좀 도와줘. 도경 씨 좋은 보좌관이 될 거야.
Yep. And one day, you will become chief of staff like me. You've got it, kid. You've got it. Yeah. So in conclusion, you have to find out if the assemblyman steps down, and then it does end with the assemblyman also getting a phone call from the president. Ooh. So what's that all about? We have to find out. To me, it feels like the way they ended the season is they're pretty much panning it out to a third season. I mean, there's gotta be a third season, because now we need to find out what's the call from the Blue House about, right? Let me know what you think. Put your comments down below. If there's any other South Korean series you'd like for me to review, let me know. I've seen very many. Too, if you like the chief of staff, I recommend watching Designated Survivor. So, you know the American version of Designated Survivor, they did one for the Korean version. Also really, really excellent. Wishing you once again Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and good tidings. Deuces.